And now is also the time to choose Canada. There are many ways for you to do your part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking Canadian-made products. It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon, or foregoing Florida orange juice altogether. It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destinations our great country has to offer. C'est le temps de choisir des produits d'ici et d'appuyer des entreprises d'ici. D'appuyer nos producteurs agricoles, nos manufacturiers, nos travailleurs, nos entrepreneurs, nos artistes. It might mean doing all of these things or finding your own way to stand up for Canada. In this moment, we must pull together because we love this country. We pride ourselves on braving the cold during the long winter months. We don't like to beat our chests, but we're always out there, waving the maple leaf loudly and proudly to celebrate an Olympic gold medal. On a notre propre identité, notre propre histoire et nos propres valeurs. Les Canadiens sont accueillants, ouverts, novateurs, ambitieux. On préfère régler nos disputes avec diplomatie, mais on est prêt à se battre quand c'est nécessaire. Canada is home to bountiful resources, breathtaking beauty, and a proud people who've come from every corner of the globe to forge a nation with a unique identity worth embracing and celebrating. We don't pretend to be perfect, but Canada is the best country on earth. There's nowhere else that I and our 41 million strong family would rather be. And we will get through this challenge, just as we've done countless times before, together. Thank you. Merci. Vive le Canada.
All right, so we'll take 20 minutes of questions, 20 minutes de questions. One question, one follow-up, une question, un suivi. Merci.
Right now, we do want to head.
Could also have a huge impact on U.S. jobs and companies. I spoke to the head of a Canadian trade group that represents Canadian automakers, and he says that these tariffs could even shut down North American car production, putting American jobs at risk. George?
Selena Wang, thanks. Let's go to our correspondent Matt Rivers in Mexico City. Matt, the response from the Mexican government already pretty fierce.
Absolutely, George. And the potential for disruption between the U.S. and Mexico is enormous. Not only is Mexico the U.S.'s single largest bilateral trading partner, even ahead of China, but cooperation on drug enforcement and migration also key. All of that, George, now on much shakier ground this morning. As expected, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum forcefully responding to Trump's tariffs. She said Mexico will respond with both tariff and non-tariff retaliatory measures of their own. But she seemed to take the most exception with why the Trump administration said they're putting these tariffs in place. The White House saying, in part, Mexican drug trafficking organizations have an intolerable alliance with the government of Mexico. Sheinbaum responding, saying, we categorically reject the White House's slander of the government of Mexico for having alliances with criminal organizations. If there is any such alliance, it is in the gun shops of the United States that sell high-powered weapons to these criminal groups. Now, look, the Trump administration is correct when they say that corruption has allowed drug cartels here to flourish. I mean, we just saw it for ourselves when we spent time last week with drug and gun smugglers working for the cartel. It is systemic here in Mexico, and it has been for decades. But it's one thing to say organized crime and corruption is a problem. It's another thing to say the Mexican government has officially allied itself with these cartels. Now, that claim has made officials here in Mexico City livid. It really even takes this beyond just tariffs. Sheinbaum offered Trump to set up a working group between both sides to try and solve some of these issues, George, but how this plays out, really anyone's guess.
Matt, threats to retaliate so far, but no specifics?
No, nothing specific in terms of how Mexico is going to retaliate. They had a couple options on the table, George. They say they're going to go with the second option, but exactly what they're going to target in terms of U.S. products, we're not sure yet.
Matt Rivers, thanks very much. Let's bring in the Canadian Ambassador to the United States, Kirsten Hillman. Madam Ambassador, thank you for joining us this morning. Your reaction to the Trump moves?
Well, I mean, we're disappointed. Obviously, this is disrupting an incredibly successful trading relationship, a trading relationship that was just renewed by President Trump in his last term when we renegotiated the NAFTA and brought our trade between our two countries to 99% tariff-free. So we're really disappointed, and we're hopeful that they don't come into effect on Tuesday. We're ready to continue to talk to the Trump administration about that, and in particular about all the work that we're doing with them and on our own with respect to the border and the issues that the president has said are at the core of this move.
What could happen between now and Tuesday that would prevent the tariffs from being implemented?
Well, I mean, I think that is really something that is in the president's hands. We've been meeting nonstop with his border officials. We've invested $1 billion in furthering some of our equipment on the border, ensuring that we have the boots on the ground, working with the U.S. Police Service on joint training, joint exercises, going to China with them to deal with the precursor problem. So we are leaning in hard on this, and we feel that we've made incredible progress. You know, illegal crossings between Canada and the United States, as you said in your opener, are less than 1% of the crossings into the United States. But even at that, they're down 89% in recent months. So please, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, based on the conversations you all have had so far, do you have a clear idea of what the United States is looking for to prevent the implementation of the tariffs?
Well, the focus has been on the border, fentanyl and illegal migration. And as I say, we've invested in a lot of equipment. We've invested in additional infrastructure, and we have put together a plan that we are implementing with the border czar, Tom Homan. We met with them on Friday. We walked through it. We have joint exercises. We have joint training, and we're going with officials from the White House, our police agency, to China in the coming days to try and grapple with the precursors issue. So it's hard to know what more we can do, but we're obviously open to any other suggestions that come our way.
So you've had these lower-level conversations, but nothing between the Prime Minister and the President?
So the Prime Minister and the President have discussed this a few times, not in recent days, but they have discussed it, and we've discussed it with senior members of the White House as well, and we've laid out our plan. And my understanding is that the plan and some of the actual outcomes, results of what we have done, have been presented to the President.
President Trump seems to be banking on the prospect that Canada is going to back down.
Yeah, I think the Canadian people are going to expect that our government stands firm and stands up for itself. I don't think we're not at all interested in escalating, but I think that there will be a very strong demand on our government to make sure that we stand up for the deal that we have struck with the United States, which, as I say, is at a 99% tariff-free trade between our two countries.
So if these negotiations do not bear fruit before Tuesday, what exactly is going to happen on Tuesday?
So on our side, we will be implementing 25% tariffs on U.S. products. We will go up to $100 billion worth of products. We will start with about $30 billion, and then we will give notice of the remainder of the products, probably for about 21 days, and then implement those if need be, if we haven't found a way out of this situation.
And what will be the message to Canadians? Would it be to stop using products from the United States, a boycott?
Well, I'll be honest, we as a government aren't necessarily needing to send that message. Canadians are perplexed, I think disappointed. We view ourselves as your neighbor, your closest friend, your ally. You know, a country whose citizens have fought and died with you around the world in defense of values that we share, who come to the aid of the Los Angeles fires most recently, and I think are really perplexed by this move. So I don't think anybody will need to tell Canadians what to do. I think that they will make their decisions on their own.
You say perplexed. Do Canadians feel betrayed?
I think they're confused. I don't think they understand where this is coming from. I think they know the degree to which we have made every effort to address the president's concerns, and so they just don't understand where this is coming from. And probably there's a little bit of hurt, right? We have 400,000 to 500,000 people that move back and forth between our two countries every day. Businesses, tourists, students, workers, and there's a sense of partnership, of family, of being each other's best, as I say, best customer, best friend. So I think that this is something that we really don't, the Canadians don't understand.
Do you understand what's going on here? Do you think President Trump values the relationship and the alliance with Canada?
Well, I mean, I hope so. I hope so. And I think that in some respects, he most certainly does. I think that we're going to have to see where this takes us. And I think that we are eager to help the president achieve his goals. You know, he's interested in energy dominance for the United States. A third of what we sell to the United States are energy products, and they're affordable and they're reliable. And for the most part, if you didn't get them from us, you'd probably have to get them from Venezuela or other non-allied countries. So we're eager to, you know, build on that. We provide critical minerals that you don't have here in the United States that are essential for defense technology and high technology. We are keen to continue to sell those into the United States and to work to even do more. But it's hard to maintain that sense of common purpose and moving forward if we get into this kind of a dynamic on tariffs. So please.
Excuse me, is that energy cooperation on the table? Could it extend to that as well?
Well, I mean, for us it is. We'd like nothing more than to talk about how we can build on the strength that we already have on both, you know, oil and gas, but nuclear and hydro. We provide the United States with almost all of the hydro and about a third of the oil that you import and use. So, or 80% of the oil that you import and use, but and almost all of the electricity. So let's do more, right? This is our view. A third of your uranium comes from Canada. What you don't get from Canada, some of it you get from Russia. Why not get it all from Canada? You know, these are our perspectives on this. We'd like to double down on everything that we are doing rather than getting into a dynamic that takes us down a road of ripping apart some of these excellent aspects of our relationship.
Finally, what should American consumers expect going forward? What's your message to American consumers?
Well, I mean, again, our message is this is not something that Canada wants to do. This is not a path that we are interested in going down. We are actually interested in being and continuing to be your best customer. We buy more from you than any other country on the planet, and we love our American products. So we support 8 million jobs in the United States through the exports that you send to us. Let's keep that going and let's build on that. Let's not diminish it.
Ambassador Hillman, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, President Trump's campaign of retribution against the Justice Department continued on Friday. Chris Christie and Rahm Emanuel join us.